very much for inviting me, and I can also say that I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and thank you very much for choosing Stockholm for this important forum. Earlier this year, I met my friend and colleague, the chairperson of the Norwegian Social Democratic Party, Jonas Gahr Støre, in Davos at the World Economic Forum. And we noted that there has been a major shift in the debate. We compared the present with the situation 25 years ago. At that time, equality was a word very much owned by social democrats or very like-minded. It was seen as something completely unrealistic and even wrong for many parts of the society. This has changed, I'm glad to say. That was obvious in Davos this year. Equality is now acknowledged as a driving force for development, as a means to create innovative societies. Today, economists even warn against social division, and that is for one simple reason. Equal societies perform better than unequal societies. So my message here today is the following. If we want to improve health and sustainability, we must perform better on equality. There is good news. The world's middle class is growing. Extreme poverty has been reduced by half, so the first Millennium Development Goal was actually reached before schedule, and that is the positive side. But there is also bad news, and I believe it might have been mentioned during these days here as well, but the fact is that wealth is increasingly concentrated into the hands of not only a few, but very few. The world's richest 80 people, 80 individuals, own assets worth as much as the 3.5 billion poorest peoples. It is absolutely beyond comprehension, and it needs to be changed. Yesterday, I met with the President of India, Sri Pranab Mukherjee, and he reminded me of Mahatma Gandhi's words, and I'm going to quote Mahatma Gandhi. He said this: "The world has enough for everyone's need, but not enough for everyone's greed." Those are very wise words. Now, we see the same trend in Sweden as well. Inequality has risen more in Sweden than in the whole OECD. And this has affected productivity, sustainability, it has affected health. If you take the metro here in Stockholm, you take the Red Line, you get on north of the city center, get off 42 minutes later, south of the city center. During that trip, life expectancy drops 4 years. 42 minutes travel from one side of the city to the other side of the city, and life expectancy drops 4 years. And the health gap continues to widen, and it's due to social and economic inequality. My point is the following, my friend: closing the gap is the key. I would like to mention two initiatives that we as a government have prioritized at the national level. First, we are committed to eliminating the health gap within a generation. A National Commission for Equitable Health will be appointed very shortly. Efforts to improve public health will be strengthened, as will follow-up. There will be a clearer division of responsibility within the public sector. Prevention will be included. We will tackle the social determinants on poor health. Second, we will present a new Swedish food strategy. This strategy will cover the entire food chain, from the primary production all the way to the consumer. Now, we have in Sweden, as we believe, the resources for a sustainable food production. We have the know-how, we have a high environmental awareness, we have a lot of land and clean water. Now, based on these good conditions, Sweden can produce safe and high-quality products, and we can do it sustainably. Our aims is to increase food production and at the same time make the rural areas of Sweden even more viable, and this is a win-win strategy. Now, friends, the challenges that we meet, that we face at the national level, are also mirrored globally in several ways. And let me give you 3 examples. First, food is lost. Up to 30% in high-income countries due to the fact that we actually throw food away. In low-income countries because of losses in the production chain or during transportation. Second, obesity is now a bigger health risk globally than malnutrition. And many developing countries actually have a double burden: undernourishment and overweight. A third example is that in all countries, food production contributes to climate change and environmental damage. This means that initiatives for better health and food security must be taken both nationally as well as globally, and they need to be addressed together. So, cooperation, as we believe in, between science, policy, the civil society, business community will lead the way, not only for decision-making, but also for new solutions, new innovations, and more sustainable food production. If we do this right, we can create new jobs while promoting better health and a more sustainable development. We can do what our late Foreign Minister Anna Lindh once said about youth unemployment and climate change. She said, "Out of 2 problems, we create 1 opportunity." And this year, these issues will be brought to the United Nations Summit to adopt the post-2015 agenda in New York in September, but also to the climate change negotiations in Paris later this year in December. So we have, dear friends, a momentum for new commitments that includes that development must include everyone. It should be sustainable also because we owe that to future generations, and it should be equal because this is as economically smart as it is morally right. Thank you very much for listening.